Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of working on a new drawing with the artist. I'm Christine Aldridge. I am CLAldridgeArt. And when I last left this, we had just finished the grass wreath. And in keeping with the grass, I thought that I would go ahead and draw in a grasshopper, which I have done. This is my very first grasshopper. So, of course, I did use a reference photo. Don't worry, I made sure it was a free one. Just an insect, insect study type thing, so that I could draw a grasshopper in. And I will zoom you down and show off my little grasshopper here. Pull up my camera controls. There we go. And hopefully get you some focus. And there is my little grasshopper. Not bad for a first try. The problem was, of course, getting the scale right, because I wanted it to look like it actually belonged there, and I think I managed to do that. And so we're going to go ahead and ink our little grasshopper first, because I don't want him to get lost in any erasing that I'm going to have to do when I start to draw the rest of this. So thank you to all of the people who have made such kind comments about this series of videos. I normally bring you coloring, but I thought that that you might enjoy actually watching the process of creating a coloring page. So, and I was also reminded by Katie Coffee Mug, subscriber Katie Coffee Mug, that I had only ever done one drawing video. So I thought I would go ahead and do a second one, which is what this series has been about. Now, because it is somewhat difficult to maintain conversation while drawing, if I go quiet on you, that is what is going on. And I am sorry that that I didn't wait to draw this on here to have you actually watch me do that. But trust me, the drawing process itself of something that I've never drawn before is torture. It's torture for me, and it would have been torture for you to watch as I erase 14 different, wrong lines. I was watching Dee Dee sketch out the drawings for the series that she's doing right now from Helen Ellison's book, her second book of exercises in coloring special effects. And she just makes it look so effortless. There we go. Alright, now need to bring his thorax down. And So have you ever watched people who just, I mean, they just sort of effortlessly draw something on the page? You need to believe that that is years and years of practice. And when you have had that much practice at it, then what happens is you can visualize the creature or the flower or the cupcake or the frosting or whatever it is. You can actually, you get very good at drawing what you see. And, once again, I did resort to a reference photo for this. And, but I am getting much better at drawing what I see. But not always in quick demand. In other words, I'm not very, very fast at it. And then suddenly, when I've really messed something up, I simply erase it, and the second time I draw it, it just goes right where it's supposed to, because basically I've been spending the last however many minutes practicing it. And that's why it gets easier as the second time around. Give him a second leg over here. Grasshoppers have fat thighs. And joints, so that their legs go where they're supposed to. Give our little guy an eye. And now one more leg. And then we'll add some little doodahs, maybe. See if I can erase some of those interior pencil lines. So that, and the reason why I always have a piece of cardstock or something underneath is it's got additional padding for any imperfections that there might be on my desktop. Because I've used this desk every day for many, many years, and so underneath all of this it is a little bit chewed up. And because I used to do other types of things on it, and over the years it's had a lot of taped on it and all of that, and it's just a laminate, so the surface of the laminate has scratched, and you wouldn't really notice it if you were just operating, doing paperwork or whatever. But when you've got drawing pens, they will pick up every imperfection if you don't put something thick underneath it. So that's why I've always got a piece of cardstock. And then also because I am super paranoid, because I eat most of my meals sitting at this desk as well. So whenever I stop working on a drawing and I'm maybe having a sandwich, even if it's not something that's messy, I always cover my picture up and put it aside so that nothing gets on the surface. I think I am going to go ahead and close this gap up. Okay. Now we can put some little doodahs on him. We'll add some nice, evenly spaced dots. Down his wing. And maybe some in here. Yep. I think that's about all he really needs. I do see that I've missed a joint, however. 2 of them on his back legs. So let me grab those. Okay. One little grasshopper sitting on the edge of a grass wreath. Now comes the fun part, where I actually attempt to draw something other than what is he looking at? Well, let's see here. He could be looking at, let's see here. He could be looking at a flower. Or he could be looking at sort of an abstract type thing, wondering what the heck is that? So let's see what we can come up with. Maybe something like that. I'm not quite happy with its little stem. Let's see if we can fix that. And of course our stem needs some leaves. Maybe a little one up here. And narrow this down a bit. And that's better. That's better. We want it to be sort of a surreal looking thing. And then maybe there's another one. Headed up in this direction. And I do, in the drawing part of it, I do have a tendency to get a little close to the edge. But when I run the scan to turn it into a PDF or to add it to a book, I'll, I'll make it slightly smaller so I can back it away from the edge. I actually want these to have a little texture, so I'll come back in and fix that. Well, this one needs some leaves too, but its leaves are going to run behind. Maybe give it one that goes up this way. Yeah. Okay. And then, because you should always do things in threes, we'll have a third one that runs maybe over this direction. I think that's the problem. I think we've got to get rid of that circle. And there comes a point where you can just sort of see the finished doohickey. Now, one of the things that that it has been pointed out to me is I have a tendency to draw things that don't actually exist. And this, for reasons I don't understand, because to me, all drawing is from your imagination. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. And I've been told that I draw from my imagination, so as opposed to, you know, from like reference photos, well, unless I'm drawing something realistic. But I mean, personally, I think that all drawing is from your imagination, isn't it? That's that. That's better. I don't know. I don't know if all that's true or not. Actually, I want to pull the stem on this over here. Take out that funky little line over there. It doesn't belong. Yeah, okay. See, that way I've got room to put a weird little leaf right in there. We'll just pretend that it's got another leaf that's somewhere lost behind here, but we'll give it another leaf that maybe runs behind this one a little bit. I may yet change my mind on that. And then I should decide if I wanted to also have little leaves on this end, but I don't think so. I think I want them to just circle around their stems like that. However, there needs to be a leaf right here. What direction do I want this leaf to go? Yeah, I don't like that. See, this is the torture part. This is the torture part for me. No. No, I don't like that either. Okay. Clean off that eraser. Gets all gunked up. Okay, when in doubt, turn it upside down. Did you know that? If you are having trouble drawing something in, try turning it upside down, and you can generally get it right. Okay, so now we have some weird flowers coming out of there. And we have a grasshopper eyeing those weird flowers. But we need something between the grasshopper and the weird flowers. So let me think about that for a second, turn the camera up, and I'll come right back. Okay, I have decided that I am just going to go ahead and ink the flowers that I've got in here, because I am notorious for wanting to fill up the page. And one of the things that I have noticed about a lot of the art that is being colored these days is that we want to leave room, and I've talked about this before, for colorist imagination. So while I'm thinking about the other, I am just going to go ahead and do this, and it may inspire either an addition or for me to just leave well enough alone with our curious little grasshopper and what he sees when he's looking at these flowers or these interesting things. They don't look particularly edible to a grasshopper. But I have this little voice in my head that is saying, Christine, do not gild the lily. And so I'm going to listen to it, at least for the time being. My page around. And go here. I was watching May Brock's earlier, and she got the new #2 set of the pan set of the Derwent Inktense that has 2 colors in it that are not in the 72 set. And that is just so cool. Okay, now where are we? We have this stem which comes down here. Okay. Because I moved that one. Whoops. Probably getting off the screen again. And we decided to put this leaf so that it sort of runs behind that one. Okay. Roll you one more time. Now I do, when I do a drawing like this, I do stop and I scan the finished part of this with just the wreath, because there are a lot of people who like to color just the mandala part. And so then when I put it in my shop, you'll actually get both versions. both the version with the extra stuff, the asymmetrical stuff, but also a version that's just the symmetrical part as well. And I found that that way I can satisfy both markets with each drawing, because there are a lot of people that just don't want the, they don't want the extra art on the outside. They just want the circle. I don't know. I'm a little tempted to just sort of leave that alone as far as any area back in here. I think it's kind of charming with the, just the butterfly and that, or just the grasshopper, and that leaves room for people to get creative with a background, which is something that I don't often do. Leave unframed and let you get really creative with a background. And I think that might be a good idea on this particular one. Now the question is, do I leave it asymmetric, which means not balanced? It is not, balancing it would be putting another grasshopper on this side to be perfectly balanced. And I could do that. I think I'm missing a leaf somewhere. I think somewhere a leaf got lost in behind here. This one and this one match that. This one and this one go to that one. Yeah, I'm sure I probably lost one back in here. But that's okay. We can just... We'll just pretend that it's there. We'll just pretend that it's there. Yeah, we'll just pretend that it's there. For right now. And now these need a little zhuzhing up. And I am being very light with my eraser because the ink is not yet 100% set. Now, I did make a little error right in here, which I can just use this gel pen to take out so that it scans nicely. Now, one of the things that frustrates a lot of people that draw is, they're like, oh, well, you should draw on better paper, and then, you've got you can sell your originals. And I don't, I don't sell originals. I don't sell my original drawings. I scan them and, turn them into digital drawings, specifically for the coloring book market. And so consequently, I draw on Hewlett-Packard 33-pound bright white resume paper, basically. And it's super smooth, and I really like the way that the microns slide across it. And so that's why I draw on it. And if I ever want to get fancy someday, I do have several reams of really good drawing paper. But for my purposes, I don't really need to draw that way, or draw on them. Alright, I'm going to need to do a little more cleanup work on that, but the ink is not yet dry, so So we will, I think, continue to think on this, and I'll come back one more time. Okay, I've thought on it, and I still haven't made any decisions, but I did ink in his little eye so that it is black, and I will add a little visual interest to these little guys. I am curious though, if you like real-time drawing like this, let me know in the comments below, or if, sorry, okay, I apologize for that. I am better. I am going to strip out the audio on this, I think, and because I am taking boring to new heights, and you all know that that is not me. I don't like to be boring. I really, like I say, I really don't usually draw with the camera running for just this reason. Is sometimes it can take me days to decide what the next element is, or decide that there shouldn't be one. And, you know, then I've sort of almost wasted that time waiting for my drawing to speak to me, because it has to speak to me and tell me what it wants. Does it want more zhuzhing? Does it want, you know, what does it want? Oops, sorry about that. I was just adding a couple of those little lines in, and I will do that with my small leaves here. Small leaves get small lines. Okay, now, I'm going to have fun editing this. Oh, that's what I was asking. I was asking, do you guys like this real-time drawing, or would you rather I just either strip out the dialogue altogether and then maybe do a voiceover for it and maybe speed it up to double time so that you're not, you know, sitting there going, what in the heck is she doing? Okay. Be right back. Okay, inspired idea. Praying mantis on this side. Yeah, praying mantis on this side. I'll be right back when I look one up and see how it's drawn. Okay, we're going to forget the praying mantis because they're creepy. I just went and looked at them, and they're creepier than I want to draw. But a snail would work, wouldn't it? I think a snail would work crawling up the other side. I just sort of feel like I really have to balance this out. So I've also never drawn a snail, but I'm going to give this a shot for everybody and see if maybe I can actually draw a snail. Snails also are sort of creepy, but see where I want my snail head to be. Let's see here. What do I want him to be doing? I want him to be actually, I think that snails, yeah, snails sort of go like that, don't they? All right, now where do their shells start? Their shells, and they sort of go up. They're not perfect circles. They come down. That's not quite right. I think his tail is too long. Because I don't think his tail sticks quite that far out of his house. And I think that his house is wrong. I think that it's more of an elongated dome shape. More like that. By Joe. And that tail still is not right. Maybe it needs to... That's it, right there. That's better. Okay. So he's sort of crawling up this side of the basket. Okay. Well, that'll work. Okay, now. We don't want... Okay, we like that. There we go. Yeah, he needs a little more bulk right there. Okay, so now snails don't really have eyes. Well, yeah, I guess they do. More have bulbs. That's a little better. not an eye. It's hard not to want to draw them with a face, isn't it? we want to draw a snail with a face. And that looks like he's got a face, but he doesn't, actually. See if I can fix that so it doesn't quite look so much like he's got a face. Yeah, well, it could be a face. He could just be a cute little snail. Let's see here. Just taking for a test drive. What do you think? Just a cute little snail? Also interested in the flowers. Maybe he shouldn't have a nose like that. Maybe that's what the... No, I liked his nose. Give me his nose back. Yeah, I haven't quite got it. Maybe it's these guys. Maybe those are wrong. Because a snail actually has these that go opposite directions. And then his... Well, yeah, except now he's... That's not right either. Okay. and now the struggle begins. He was just fine, and then I had to putz with him. I thought he was very cute. Maybe we'll just put him back the way he was. And call him good. After all, he's a fantasy figure in a coloring book. But that doesn't mean we can't make him adorable. Okay, and then snails are kind of scaly looking. Maybe circles is not the right answer. Maybe scales is the right answer. And maybe that will just be too much detail. We don't have to add his scales with the ink. I just want to see what it looks like if I add them with the pencil. I think a snail would be another good thing to color with the Koh-i-Noor tritones, because you know their shells are so many different different shades. Color them this way with the tritones and get all that tortoise shell look in the shells. That would be cool. Okay, I think that is what I want right there. What do you think? Well, I can't hear you, and if I ink it before you've commented, then and you don't like it, or you had a better idea, we'll just have to incorporate that one into the next drawing. But I'm thinking that the snail is the way to go here. So let me go quickly grab something, and then I'll ink him. That's code for I have to run to the little girl's room. I'll be right back. Okay, and we are back to ink our little snail. Off we go. I've been reading the comments on this series, and people say that my voice is very calming. I think that's an interesting comment, especially considering it's coming from more than one source. I never think of myself as being a particularly calming person. Oops. Once again, I've got too many things encroaching over here. Put some of the pins back in the pin box. I only have about 1,000 microns. Actually, that's not true. I have probably easily have 60 or 70 though. When things are good and I can afford to, I do have a tendency to stock up on my number 5s. Okay. Hello, Mr. Snail. Welcome to the world. You know, you didn't exist a few minutes ago. And now you do. Through the magic of art, a new little snail has been born into the world. I'm goofy. What can I say? Let's see, I'm no longer paying attention to my lines because I decided they were poorly spaced. So now here is the interesting part. And this is the thing, when you're drawing a spiral, the thing you have to remember is that at some point in time during your spiral, you have to change directions with your swirls. Otherwise, it'll look like a staircase down instead of a staircase up. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are watching this who are regular viewers of my Sunday stream, I'm going to make a special announcement anyway. This coming Sunday, I will start at 3 o'clock USA time. And I will tell you that May Brox is smarter than I am. Not that anybody necessarily doubted that, but when we were talking about the daylight savings time, because USA changes before before Europe, and she said, well, all you have to do is start your stream an hour later. So start at 3, and I kept thinking, but but how will that work? Because I try to coordinate my time with Europe so that we don't all run over each other. And what all it means is the United States went forward by an hour, so my show has to go forward by an hour. The U.S. has to accommodate the rest of the world during this time before the universal time change. And then everybody's stream occurs at the right time. There's 2 hours between all of us, and she is right, and I was wrong, and I admit it. So my stream will start at 3 o'clock USA time this coming Sunday, and then I believe that the next Sunday is the 31st, and so the next Sunday after that is the 31st. That's the day that the UK goes on daylight savings time. Now, what I don't know is if Norway goes on daylight savings time this year on that day, or if they don't go till another day. So I will look that up. But Shalene, if you are listening, that means that you should start your show at 7 o'clock. Otherwise, instead of your normal 6 for next week. Otherwise, you will get run over by May by 1 hour because Oslo has not changed, or GMT1 has not changed their time. And I have this fancy timeline to prove that I was an idiot. Where is the pen that I am looking for? I don't think I'm going to do the whole kit and caboodle here as far as doing scales on our snail. That rhymes. But I am going to do a few. Okay, so I'll do a few there, and then maybe I'll do a few down here along his tail section. Just to give sort of the point. There we go. That he's a beautiful snail. Now, I am not going to erase anything on this snail until he is 100% dry. And so, let's move on to the next part, which is going to be this blank space down here. Okay, now what are we going to do down here? I was thinking that I might do something, I don't know, Hannah Carlzon-ish, or Joanna Basford-ish, and hang some jewels from the bottom of the wreath. They usually don't serve any purpose other than just being sort of decorative. I could put a set of leaves down there, and I could just leave it alone. And actually, let's examine leaving it alone for just a second. Okay, so this is our whole drawing. Now, when I scan it, I'll, I'm awfully close to the top up here. So when I scan it in, I will actually crop it, and that way I can center it on a coloring book page. So that it will end up, there, now you can see the whole thing, so that it will end up looking something more like that on the coloring book page, as I'm cutting off the bottom part. So it would have my signature then along this plane. So right around in, say, here, my name would appear, and it would fill up the whole page that way. So I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think that's a bad idea at all, because I think then that does leave room, because other than hanging jewels or drawing some extra leaves, it would just be filler to fill up the page. The design is really the up here, with our insects. Now the other option I could do, I guess, is I could put a fly and a bumblebee down here, but I think that I may just call this one done. Is that possible? I may actually call this one done. What do you guys think? I will hold on to it for a couple of days. Or, well, no, I probably won't do that. I don't have that kind of patience when I have a new drawing to show off. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this one done. I really do. Other than erasing the, I will erase the pencil lines out of here. And of course I'll erase this one right away, since it's just out there on its own. And I can. And that'll be it. So, look for this one to appear in my Etsy shop sometime tomorrow, which would be Friday, because it is Thursday right now. Or later today, if you're not seeing this until Friday. And I certainly am not going to get it edited and posted before Friday anyway. So this will be in my shop on Friday. It'll be in the new art category at CLAldridgeArt on Etsy. And thank you to everybody who has watched me draw this and for your lovely comments. I will be back with a coloring video shortly. Thanks. Bye, everyone. Until we meet again, color something pretty.